How are you feeling today? Have you ever wondered, why do some people in love always move so lightly, so slowly, as if just one slightly faster step would send their heart falling off a cliff? They do not rush to schedule the next date. They do not text consistently every day. And even after many dates, they still keep a small distance just enough so their emotions are not touched too soon. At first glance, it is easy to misunderstand it as indifference, as a lack of seriousness, as pulling away instead of growing closer. But when you stand close enough and listen long enough, you will notice something very quiet yet carrying the weight of a long journey. That slowness is not because they do not want to, but because they have been hurt so deeply that they no longer dare to move fast. There are wounds that do not break us, but they change the way we walk. We learn to place each step with great caution, as if each footstep could awaken a memory we have tried hard to bury. So they choose to meet again after a few weeks instead of a few days. Choose to let the heart have time to relax, to let calmness return in time. Choose to give their emotions enough breathing room before welcoming someone into their private inner world. Not because they want to avoid anything, but because they fear being swept away too quickly when their soul is not yet ready to keep up. If you have ever gone through long, lingering pain, you will understand this feeling very clearly. Every step forward in romance requires a slower rhythm, a pause so the heart can understand itself before trying to understand someone else. And in the moment you realize this, a deeper truth begins to reveal itself. That love, no matter how beautiful, is always something that makes us both long to move closer and long to retreat to where it feels safe. The strangest thing about love lies in its very paradox. We hope for it to come, yet when it truly comes close, the heart quietly flinches. Everyone thinks they just want to be loved. Everyone thinks they just need someone to lean on. But if you observe closely, you will see moments when we do not even have time to feel happy, not even time to receive it. Because to love someone, we must step out of the protective shell we have built for many years. We must allow another person to see the weakest, most fragile, and most honest parts of us. And not everyone is ready to stand that bare in front of another person's gaze. Love always carries a silent question no one dares to say out loud. If they see all of who I truly am, will they still want to stay? That question makes people hesitant, makes a hand slow down right before reaching out for another hand, makes the words, "I like you," pause for a beat before reaching the lips, makes the heart waver between stepping forward or stepping back into the familiar. Not because of a lack of feeling, but because love, no matter how beautiful, is still a form of risk, a form of allowing someone else the power to hurt us. And in that depth, some people, especially those who grew up without emotional safety, tremble even more before intimacy. They are not only afraid of love, they are afraid of the very good feelings they should have been able to receive long ago. Those tremors, that fear, open another doorway where early memories begin to speak, softly but strongly enough to shape how each person enters a relationship. There are people who step into love with very small steps, not because they do not know how to love, but because they have had to learn how to protect themselves since they were far too young. No one sees this from the outside. No one guesses that behind the calmness, the quietness, the slowness, there is a long history of days and months of not being loved properly. Some children grow up in homes full of noise, yet lacking tenderness, where the mother is sometimes distant, sometimes silent, as if living in another world, where the father is easily angered, with harsh words always quicker than understanding, where small sadnesses are dismissed, where childlike questions are treated as bothersome, and even simple wishes like, "I want a hug," are left unanswered. To survive, That child has no choice but to shrink into themselves, to play alone, to swallow the tender emotions that should have been comforted, to tell themselves not to expect too much so the disappointment will hurt less. And when they bring those lessons into adulthood, they enter love with a completely different heartbeat. They are cautious, not because they lack emotion, but because their emotions have been hurt before. They move slowly, not because they distrust others, but because their trust has once been treated too delicately. For them, intimacy is not only something beautiful, it is also the very thing that once hurt them the most. So every time the heart begins to open, old memories whisper, "Be careful, do not rush, do not let yourself hurt again." And paradoxically, the lack they endured in the past makes them easily overwhelmed by the kindness they receive in the present, kindness that everyone deserves. Once you understand this, you will see a gentle but profound truth. Their slowness is not avoidance of you, but their way of trying not to betray themselves again. At the deepest part of the story, that childhood has quietly shaped their capacity to receive love and led to a paradox that many outsiders would never guess. The thing that surprises others the most is this: those who grew up without enough love do not feel comfortable when facing too much of it. They do not feel happy right away. They do not easily enjoy it. They do not exclaim, "Finally, someone loves me fully." Instead, they feel their heart beating fast in a very strange way. Not happiness, but overwhelm. Not relief, but uneasiness, confusion, even a little fear. Because when someone comes with a heart that is full, when they offer care as naturally as breathing, when they treat them with gentleness, patience, warmth, the person who once lacked love does not know what to do with all of that. It feels like living a whole life in darkness and suddenly being pulled into a room full of light. That light is not bad, but it hurts the eyes. It makes one want to turn away and retreat into the familiar shadows. A nervous system accustomed to little cannot immediately receive much. A heart accustomed to scarcity cannot instantly open its doors to abundance, so they become suspicious. They think the other person is strange. They fear the other person is trying too hard to please them. They ask themselves, "Why are they so good to me? I have nothing that makes me deserve this much." And to maintain the familiar state of balance, they subconsciously build walls. They push the other person away, search for flaws, look for reasons to withdraw, and accuse the other of being too sensitive, too fast, or too clingy. But deep inside, that is only a way to escape the feeling of not knowing how to eat a feast of emotions that is too abundant. They are not running from the person in front of them. They are running from the overwhelm inside themselves. And if you listen closely to those tremors, you will notice a small voice they have never dared say out loud. That kindness that comes too fast, too much, can make a heart that once lacked love feel disoriented. What should have been happiness instead makes them step back a little, not because they do not want to receive it, but because they have not yet learned how to. This paradox creates a very particular kind of ache, a silent plea that only the perceptive will sense. If you place your hand on the heart of someone who has lacked love for a long time, you will hear something very small, very soft, yet painfully true, something they have never said aloud, and something no one has ever noticed. That's when they step into a relationship and meet someone who is too kind, too warm, and too patient. They do not know how to receive it. They feel as if they are standing in the middle of an emotional rainstorm their heart has not yet put on a coat for. Inside them, a whisper rises. "Please, don't be too good to me too soon. Please don't give me everything when I haven't even lifted my hand to reach for it. Let me learn to receive slowly." That is not rejection. That is a plea to slow down so the heart has time to understand what it is feeling. a plea to breathe steadily before stepping into an emotionally rich world they have never lived in long enough to grow familiar with. Because when someone loves them too intensely, they fear they will not be able to return it equally, fear they will hurt the other person, fear that kindness will disappear the way many beautiful things once disappeared in their past. So they step back a little, not to avoid you, but to avoid the panic rising within themselves. They need time for their emotions to stop running wild, for your gentleness not to turn into pressure that makes them feel small and unworthy. If you stood in that place, you would understand. Receiving a gift too large when you are used to scraps always creates a dizziness that is hard to describe. And in that dizziness, they hope for one thing only, that you will be patient enough not to hastily conclude that they are cold or uncaring. Because behind that hesitation is a desire to be loved in a way they can receive it. Not fast, not overwhelming, but little by little enough for them to learn how to receive without losing themselves. And this fragility opens another side of the story. Not only do those who step back feel pain, but those who move forward too quickly also carry fears of their own. If slowness is how one heart protects itself from overwhelm, then haste is how another heart tries to outrun the feeling of being left behind. From the outside, those who love quickly are often seen as romantic, barely knowing someone for a few days and already saying they miss them, meeting twice and already thinking about the future, not fully understanding each other yet already giving all their trust. They take you far away on the second date, call you affectionate names before the two of you truly know each other, and expect emotional confirmation sooner than your heart can respond. But if you look deeper, beneath all those intense gestures is not certainty, but anxiety. They are afraid of not being chosen, afraid of not being enough, afraid that if they do not give a lot right from the beginning, love will once again slip out of their hands as it once did in the past. Their childhood may have taught them that love is something that disappears at any moment, that tenderness is not something that stays, and that to avoid losing what they long for, one must hold tightly, must give abundantly, must prove their worth before someone changes their mind. This fear makes them step faster than the natural rhythm of the heart. They give too much, not because they have an excess of love, but because inside them there is a hollow space that has never been steadily filled. They run toward love not because they are brave, but because they fear the feeling of being left behind once again. Fear sitting and waiting in silence. Fear of seeing unread messages. Fear those emotional gaps that the wounded know too well. And just like the slow ones, the hurried ones are not trying to make things difficult for anyone. They are simply following the survival rhythm of their heart, a rhythm shaped by love that once arrived and disappeared too quickly. When we can see both sides, we realize something gentle yet very true. Both the slow stepper and the fast stepper are trying to love in the way they were taught by their own past. And between these two uneven heart rhythms, there exists a beautiful middle ground where love can breathe more evenly, fearless, and return to its natural softness. When you observe long enough the different rhythms of hearts, one moving too fast out of fear of loss, one moving too slowly out of fear of pain, you will realize that the health of love is not found in speed. It lies in inner steadiness. Mature love does not rush forward, but it also does not withdraw from what is good. It lives in the middle, where the heart is calm enough not to panic and open enough not to stay closed for too long. Some people possess this naturally. They can say, "I like them, but I do not know them well enough yet. I want them to stay, but I can also live well if one day they leave. I look forward to it, but I do not need to hold on immediately, not because they are cold, but because they know that love grows best when both people have space to breathe, to observe, to understand, and to let emotions expand naturally. This maturity allows them to avoid two familiar panics: the fear of losing and the fear of being hurt. They do not demand early confirmation, do not need everything to be certain right away, do not rush to label, promise, or build a future after only a few meetings. But they also do not flee when someone comes close. Do not hide in silence. Do not freeze their emotions or conceal their feelings as if they were shameful. They move slowly, but without anxiety. They open their heart, but without grasping. They know when to take a small step forward and when to pause and listen to what their heart is trying to say. And this balance turns love into a gentle journey, no longer a race or a defensive battle, but a meeting of two people who genuinely want to understand each other. In that steadiness, we begin to realize that the root of mature love is not only in how we love now, but in a deeper emotional heritage, one that some were fortunate to be raised with and others must learn later in life. When you look at people who can love calmly, those who do not panic when someone loves them, nor feel alarmed when someone comes close, you will see in them a distinct serenity, a kind of safety planted very early. They are not luckier, not easier to love, not stronger. They simply grew up in an environment where affection was not something to be guessed, not scarce, not unpredictable, not sunshine one day and storm the next. They were hugged when needed, listened to when sad, seen through eyes without judgment, loved in a way that did not require them to become someone else to deserve it. And these small experiences formed in them a very important belief that love is something that can be trusted. With that belief, they do not need distance to protect themselves, nor speed to hold on to anyone. They can walk between extremes, keeping their own rhythm without fearing judgment or abandonment. They do not panic when a message goes unanswered. Do not ask themselves thousands of questions about why someone is quiet for a few days. Do not need to grip tightly just to ensure that love will not disappear, because from within, they carry a foundational feeling that says, whatever happens, I will be okay. And that feeling allows them to love naturally, without suspicion, without strain, without fear. But the wonderful thing is, this ability is not a gift reserved only for those with a beautiful childhood. Even those who did not have it can relearn this sense of safety through their heartbreaks, new insights, and their own journey of growing up. For the human heart, if given enough patience, always has the capacity to learn how to love again, gently, steadily, and without running from its own emotions. When a person begins to understand that their fear is not weakness, but the trace of a long journey of endurance, they start to see themselves differently, softer, more patient, and no longer quick to judge. From that moment, something very subtle yet very important begins to happen inside them. They stop forcing themselves to be fine. They stop denying their strange emotional reactions. They begin observing their feelings as one would observe a child, fragile and in need of gentle guidance. And this shift in perspective opens the possibility for them to relearn love at an entirely new rhythm. They practice slowing down, not out of fear, but to give the heart time to understand what it is feeling. They practice taking deep breaths when emotions surge unexpectedly, not running away, not attacking, not shutting their doors. They practice speaking their hesitations. Give me a little time. This is new for me. I am trying to understand myself. These simple sentences are a huge step for someone who once coped through silence or avoidance. They begin to realize that a healthy relationship does not require walking in with perfection. It requires walking in with honesty. Honesty with someone else, and more importantly, honesty with oneself. They listen to their body, listen to their heartbeat, listen to the subtle opening and closing of emotion. And with each act of listening, they learn a little more about returning their heart to safety. When someone who once endured pain learns to cultivate inner security, the pace of love is no longer dictated by fear, but by awareness. They no longer rush to keep someone, nor retreat in panic. They take intentional steps, light, true, and slow enough so their heart is never left behind. And from this slower rhythm, a new ability begins to grow. The ability to receive love without losing oneself, the ability for emotions to deepen naturally, the ability to believe they deserve something good. As this inner strength grows, the heart comes closer to an important moment, the moment when it can reach out its hand, no longer trembling, but with the calm of someone who knows they can stand firm through anything that comes. There will come a day, after years of both running away and longing, when your heart suddenly becomes still in a very different way, no longer frantic when loved, no longer retreating when someone comes near. You realize you are no longer dragged by emotion, but standing beside yourself. In that calmness, you look at the person before you and feel something simple yet profound. You do not need to be perfect to be loved. You only need to be present, clear, honest, and gentle enough with your own heart. You no longer fear losing someone, because you know you are strong enough to remain standing if it happens. You no longer fear being loved, because kindness no longer overwhelms you as before. Your heart now knows how to receive little by little, to distinguish old fear from new longing, and from the small whisper of hope. Then in a very natural moment, without drama, without force, you reach out your hand, not trembling, not hesitating, not panicking about what might happen. It is the hand of someone who has finished learning the rhythm of their own heart. You understand that love is not rushing in or running away, but daring to step forward with full presence, daring to try, daring to hope, daring to believe one more time, not because you are certain they will stay, but because you know you are strong enough to stand even if they cannot. And in that gaze, love becomes something very beautiful. No longer a battle of fears, no longer a chase away from old memories, but a meeting between two hearts, slowly opening along their natural rhythm. Perhaps that is the moment that truly marks emotional maturity in love. When you reach out your hand not to hold someone, not to cling to someone, but simply to say, peacefully, I'm ready. And perhaps the most miraculous part is not whether you find someone, but that you have found yourself, amid breaths that were once rushed and nights that were once too heavy to keep going. You have walked through darkness no one knew, kept silent through pains no one heard, stood up after falls no one witnessed. A heart like that, when it chooses to open again, is not acting out of recklessness, but out of strength. And that strength does not roar. It is quiet, like a morning lake, like thin sunlight resting on rooftops, like a soft, I'm okay now, said not to convince anyone, but to remind yourself that you have walked through things you once thought impossible. Love, in the end, is not about finding someone to fill your emptiness. Love is finding someone to whom you can open the door of your heart, when that emptiness inside is no longer frightening. Love is companionship, not salvation. It is two hands reaching toward each other, when both can already stand on their own feet. It is a choice, not a grasp. It is two souls walking beside each other, not one soul clinging to the other to keep from falling. And when you extend your hand in that peaceful way, they may take it, or they may not. But what matters most is that no matter what happens, you know you will not lose yourself again, because your heart has learned how to listen, how to heal, how to move with a true rhythm, and most importantly, how to believe that it deserves to be loved in its own timing. There are journeys that need no applause, need no perfect ending, only one small, quiet moment in which you feel something inside you has become lighter. One letting go, one deep breath, one returning, and in that returning, you will know that love, whether it comes or goes, has already given you a gift, a heart that knows how to be with itself. And that's the content of this episode. If you feel a sense of resonance with these reflections, don't forget to follow the channel and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. See you soon. Bye.